Thanks for joining us, everybody, for the Fit Family Lifestyle Podcast. I am here at Player One Production Studio with the one and only Austin. If anybody is looking to film a commercial to get some photo shoots done or have some creepy robot drone flying around, filming you, he's your guy. Hit him up at Player One Productions, link in the description. As always, we are EPN Supplements sponsored athletes. So if you're looking for some premium supplements, whether it's BCAAs, protein, pre-workout, you can use the link in the description, get 10% off your order, and recently signed up for Bfit Amazing activewear. So really awesome activewear. Best thing, second thing best to working out is looking good while you're doing it. So if you're looking to get some good activewear, you can use the link in the description with code KCDARK, all caps, CASEYDARK, no E at the end, for 30% off your entire order. So I want to jump in and introduce our very special guest today. This is SonJi, aka Peaches. How you doing, Peaches?
I'm good. Hello. It's good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. I like your background. It's cool. It's is that
Yes,
your inspiration? So tell us about
yes.
this amazing lady here.
So, in the gym, working out, and her healthcare worker was with her, but didn't quite, know how to, I guess, balance weights or whatever. And
Hmm.
so, got with her and was like, "Hey, we could do a light workout." And I was so sore the next day just from light movement, but that slow burn. And she's like, I need to see her again. I feel great. And so we meet up, every weekend, almost every weekend, to do a light workout. And she is down for whatever.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
and and she's how old again?
She is 104 years old. She'll be 105 this coming December. She said,
105. That is
it's
incredible.
It's
That is incredible.
incredible. And she said, without working out, I would feel so down. And I'm like, really? So
Hmm.
I was like, I got to get in there. And then, so we have been really committed to light weights, stretchy bands, and she's all for it. She's in the wheelchair because she can't stand and walk on her own. So she uses a walker
Hmm.
with a physical therapist just to keep her legs working.
Right.
And then when we get in the gym, we go hard on those legs, and she loves
Right.
it. She
Right.
was a horse rider.
Oh,
She
that's right. I remember you
rode
telling me
and
that.
raced horses.
That's awesome. That's such an inspiration to see somebody who's at 104, almost 105, still in the gym. That's where I'm
In the
going out. I'm
gym.
telling you.
Yeah, for real, for real. It can be done, and she loves juicing.
Hmm.
She doesn't eat a lot. She said before bedtime because she likes really good sleep. She goes to bed at 5 p.m. and wakes up at 8 a.m.
Wow. Well, there you go. I mean, that's the way to do it. So awesome. Well,
That's the way
we'll
to do
talk more about her, but I want to talk about Sanjay. I want to talk about you. So first question is where did Peaches come from?
Peaches is because I have been chunky like for a long time. Maybe started in my 20s and got that nickname, Round and Soft Peaches. So
Ah, okay. So
I'm, I'm like, it's gonna be hard body Peaches here soon.
that's right. That's right. Okay. And so how long ago was it when you got that nickname?
Ooh, I was in my 20s, so
You
30 years ago.
Wow, okay. And it just
Yeah.
stuck.
And it stuck.
And was that
And
a self-given nickname? Did you give yourself that nickname or was it other
no,
people giving you that?
that was family. That's the family
Oh.
nickname. And I'm like, "Ugh, Peaches? I guess it's better than what my uncle used to call me, Little Mama. Like,
Oh no.
but after high school, that's when I started packing on the weight because, I started to drive. I worked
Mhm.
my first job in fast food, then went to St. Louis and worked with my uncle's two grocery stores, and
So you're
we could
just
eat
always
anything
around food. Just yeah,
every time. Yeah, it's the American way, right?
right. And so when you started working in fast food, I mean there wasn't really any direction of like, trying to encourage you to eat healthy on a lunch break, or there was just like,
No.
you're already here,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, learning about food was like learning about money. You don't find out about it until it's broken, right?
Ah,
You know,
yep.
I learned I learned about money when I was finally broke with my first job. Like, wait a minute, where is the money going? And how is it so fast that I'm spending it? And then with food, I went away for the summer,
Mhm.
working with my uncle's store. And when I got back, what, 90 days, my friends were amazed. I was just so puffy, and
Mhm.
I didn't even know that I had gained the weight. And so I'm like, well, what foods would make me go back to normal? like, like it doesn't work like that.
No, no, it
Yeah.
doesn't. That would be nice, right? That would be nice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, so where did you grow up?
Omaha, Nebraska,
Omaha,
all my life.
Nebraska.
Yep.
Exciting
And
place, right? Lots to do.
uh, yeah, right. I mean, it's a whole city with lots of action.
Mhm.
Warren Buffett is from there, still
Right.
there, driving around in his tempo. You know, it's really a nice, homey city. I feel like that's where you should go to probably retire. But
Mhm.
young people are still there, and trying to prosper. So it's still a really great city. I just like Dallas better, because everything is here, I feel like,
Oh yeah.
that I'm interested in,
Mhm.
right? From sailing to, activities like zip lining. I mean, all of that. So
Sailing. So do you sail? Have you been sailing?
I do, yes.
No way. Tell me about that.
So this there is a guy that he died, but he owns a sailboat that he built himself
Okay.
in Rockwall,
Mhm.
and it's called Sailing with Scott. And you bring your food, your cooler. He puts on the motor, gets you out to the middle of Lake Hubbard, and
Okay.
then you just kind of float or sail. You just sail for hours. Sunset. He calls different kind of cruises. Like there's a kids cruise in the daytime, and then they just get later and later, and you can watch the sun go down. It is so beautiful, so wonderful.
That sounds like a
Through Lake
blast. I'm
Hubbard.
gonna have to put that on the bucket list. I've had to
Oh,
trim down
please
my
do.
bucket list because I had things like skydiving and bungee jumping, and
Oh,
then you know how that
oh my
went for me.
gosh.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I've always wanted to go sailing. I love being on the water. So that sounds like a
yeah,
blast.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was so fun. Yeah, and so I like Dallas, for that. I mean, it's all here, whether you're a nature person, if
Mhm.
you're inside, if you're a foodie. And when I moved here, I was like, oh God, everything is bigger in Texas. And I don't want to be bigger. But I think nationwide, the serving of food is really for a serving of 4 to 6 people. The way
Yeah,
that
it
we
really
get
is.
food.
And in fact, and Anna's here, and she's gonna
Hi,
come
Anna.
talk to you later. She's so excited to see you. We couldn't figure out the setup with being able to like have us both sit here because we could both fit
Yeah,
here,
you
but
could. Yeah.
we she wouldn't be able to hear you, and so we'd be passing the headphones. So she's gonna come and we're gonna tag out in a little bit so you can chat with her because she's excited to see
Oh,
you.
wonderful.
But um, we were talking about that the other day. How when we go out to eat, um, we will get, typically we will share an appetizer, we will share an entree, and then depending on how we feel, we'll either share a dessert or we'll take one home and eat it later. But we will never get a full plate of something for ourselves because it's just, unless we know we're going to a restaurant that has like a really small reasonable portion, but the portion sizes that restaurants give you are
Ugh,
incredible. I mean,
they
the
are.
how is one person eating all this? And it's one thing to save up your calories for like a super big meal like Thanksgiving, and you're going to overeat and be stuffed. That's one thing, but just going out
Right.
for a nice meal, for a
Right.
date, or just, a family dinner. I don't want to leave the restaurant feeling miserable and like I just want to go take a nap. And so that's been our kind of strategy. And if for some reason we're
Yeah.
at a place where we have similar palates too, so we lucked out. So if we have uh, you know something that I really want from that restaurant is, for example, her digestive system doesn't tolerate red meat really well, so she won't order a steak. Um, but if there's a place that I know has really good steak, I'll get a steak and she'll get something else. But then we'll still make a very conscious plan, like, I'm
Yeah.
taking half of this home, you're taking half of that home. We're not eating the whole thing here because there's no need to. It's like a 2,000 calories in one meal. So and I know,
Yeah.
because I've been to Texas and I have family in Texas, that there is many places where it's even worse there. Like by the time you
Yeah.
have your beverage, your appetizer, and your salad, you're pretty full. The entree hasn't even
Yeah.
shown up, and then they're trying to get you to buy dessert. Like, what is happening?
Oh my goodness. I know. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Drag me out and box the dessert and drag that out too.
Right? Like,
It's a
when
lot.
they say, "Can I get you anything else?" Like, how about a wheelbarrow to get me out of here back to the car?
Yep.
So awesome. So what are you doing in Dallas now? What is how does
Cool.
Peaches make money in this world?
Yes, I serve people in crisis through a nonprofit organization that has funding for Dallas County residents. So, avoiding eviction, avoiding foreclosure, supporting and paying for tuition if they want to do like a trade,
Mhm.
CDL, HVAC, or maybe they want to go into medicine, phlebotomy, short-term education to get them because there's a community of underpaid or underemployed. And so getting them out of that poverty level and get them into economic mobility. And I
Mm.
absolutely love it. Just training myself though for like the first year I was in it, you have to train yourself not to ingest that stress
Yeah.
because you want to save everybody. I
Oh, I
mean,
know it. I know it.
you don't want to ever meet a mom that's living in a car or a father running from an abusive wife, which we don't hear a lot about, but it's very,
Very
prominent.
common. Very common.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very. And so, serving people in crisis can be harsh physically and mentally. And that's how I learned about cortisol levels. I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh. So, it's not always from eating. I learned that it's from not eating. I mean, it's go, go, go. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm hungry. Oh, let me eat some Cheetos to take the edge off until I get home and devour whatever is there too.
Right. And so
So,
you got to a
sometimes
point
you
where
get,
you started getting into this field and realizing like the
yep,
that this wasn't a place where you could be emotionally separated from. You had to be like involved, but you hadn't
yeah,
quite learned yet how to draw that line of
hmm,
being, rationally detached, as we used to call it in the mental health field. And that
absolutely.
causes some serious stress because you're working with people and you get emotionally
Yeah,
connected with people. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, after all's said and done, you're like, oh, wait, I still have to take care of me. And then,
yes,
it's
yeah.
whatever's
It's a
available.
Oh my good occupational hazards, right?
Hmm.
Like boundaries,
Right,
and cutting that off and not working past what time you're supposed to end work and clock into home.
right,
And that these fires, we can fix anything except death. So everybody will be okay because there are things that are figure outable,
right, right. No, I
you know.
remember working in mental health, and
So
I worked with youth, troubled youth, kids with emotional and behavioral problems, and it was a hard transition to make to like go home and sleep at night and just really
yeah,
like they're gonna be okay. It's there's people there that are trained, that are competent to take care of them. They're gonna be okay. You'll come back tomorrow. luckily, the place that I worked, it was a 45-minute drive from where I lived to there, or longer if there was traffic. And so by the time
You
I
can see
got,
some
the
friends.
time it took me to get there, I was ready to be at work. I was like pumped for work. And then by the time I got home, I tried to use that drive as kind of my
Yeah.
mental space to like prepare to be home. So, how did you
Oh,
end
yeah.
up finding this field of work?
Well, I moved down here for a large furniture company, and
Mm-hmm.
once it all got settled, they were like, "You can do this job from Omaha," and I was like, "I am not going back to Omaha after living this lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
The job market is open," and it wasn't, and got into a crisis myself, just trying to find another recruiting job. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do this. I need to do something else. I want to do heart work. And then ended up where it was employment and education for a shelter. And so I was like, oh, okay,
And this
I
is
can
like a
step in.
homeless shelter. These are people that are homeless.
Yeah, that's how I got into it. So I left the homeless shelter because there's a lot going on at the same time with mental illness, addiction, and it's all right there on one level.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, I can't do this for long. And so I transitioned into economic mobility and was able to like get people ready for work, send them to organizations that could donate clothes, groceries, fix cars, to get them back on the road. So I'm on the other side of it where they have everything to lose, and we try to find all those resources to remove barriers. So I like it much better outside of the homeless realm, homeless
Right,
shelter.
right.
Yeah.
The homeless realm gets a little intense, I imagine sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I was like, no, I did that for 3 years and
Mm-hmm.
then transitioned over to economic mobility where you're elevating people out of crisis, which is the
Right.
best feeling in the world.
Right. So what's
Mhm.
like the biggest success story you have? Obviously, you don't have to say names, but what's
Yeah.
something that you can really put your stamp on and say, this
Oh,
person is better because of Peaches.
yeah, helping them find a job already changes a community, but then
Mm-hmm.
they go from renting a home and then they get into these housing programs and they're serious about renting the home to own it. And then they go to owning that home and getting comfortable with those payments, and the family is like doing great, and everybody is like out of crisis in the household. And then
Mm-hmm.
they, come by with a new car to show me. It's like,
Oh, that's got to be the best feeling.
yeah, because when people are in crisis, they're already creative, they're whole, they're resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're stressed, you're none of that. You forget who you are. Stress is taking
Mm-hmm.
over. Kind of like when you get hungry. forget the, forget the menu of what I'm supposed to eat. I'm hungry now because we
Right.
haven't prepped the food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is a good feeling when they can come by, tell their story with people who are in crisis and let them know, hey, I did this and I know that you can do it. So, best
I
feeling
love
ever.
that.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
that. Well, uh, so it was about a month ago, I'd say, you were on Instagram and you saw some lady doing some stuff on a yoga mat, and
Oh
you
my
were you were just
yeah.
inspired. You want to
Yeah.
tell us about that?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I knew that she was sweating because the moves are so intense,
Mm-hmm.
but they're slow and they're powerful. And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be me. I didn't You don't think about doing things at home, working out at home,
Right.
but it is a thing. And I saw her and it clicked, and I inboxed, didn't I?
You did. You did.
Yeah. I
You
was
did.
like, yeah, so I inboxed. I was so inspired, not by I think if I was younger, I would have been like, I'll never be that thin or that fit or that limber. But it was something about sitting on the sofa watching Anna. Like, I could do that. It's Her stuff is right in front of the sofa.
Right.
Duh.
Well, then I have a special treat for you, Peaches. I want you to get to formally meet Anna, and you guys get to have a conversation about being inspired and being ladies on this journey. So, without further ado,
Yes.
here is the lovely Miss Anna.
Right. Hi, Anna. Oh, she can't hear me yet.
Hi.
I was all screaming Anna, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you need your headsets on first."
Hello, how are you?
I am good. It's nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet you in person as well. I feel like I already know
Yeah,
you from all of the
I know.
videos and
Yes. I was like, I can do this. And isn't it insane how you can post a video and you don't think that people, not that they don't watch, it's just I'm gonna do this because it's my creativity that I'm posting or my actions or activity. And I saw that and I was like, I can do this. And
absolutely.
because
You
you
don't
were at
think it's going to
home,
motivate other people. I mean,
right?
Casey started videotaping me um, working out, and I never knew that that would be something that would be a motivator for other people. Just
Yeah,
watching me get through it.
yeah, and it was something about getting caught up with the videos where we've all seen the gym fit ironclads, going hard, whether it's high intensity or they're doing something with weights, but you were making it simple, like any human body could do what you're doing. You just got to get moving. And I was in a headspace where it's like, I am not moving and I hurt because I am not moving. And so,
Absolutely.
right. And I saw your video and I'm like, oh, so I don't have to psych myself up to go to the gym.
No.
I can have the gym at home. What? And
Isn't
it
that
was on
great?
from there. Yes. It was on from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I really love working out at home and finding new people on YouTube that
Yep.
inspire me and new ways to exercise. I'm really into the kickboxing and but I
Yeah.
really love dance workouts too and you know um
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think for me too, yeah, Casey had mentioned that in one of his videos, I don't know if it was YouTube, it might have been uh like an advertisement of clients that he works with, and he was like, I want to work with people who have done some living, not the hot bunny at the gym, which I will be aspiring to do that. But um it's something about knowing that here is a human being that wants to transform your thought about working out and about that next level after your goal. Because we have done some living
mhm.
and we have hit those goals, but we don't really talk about after the goal what happens. And so we go right back into the old us, and then there we are again starting over to go back to the goal.
Right, it's
But
about that
this yeah,
sustainability.
yeah, this is
And
different.
Casey has really kept me on track since we've been together.
Yeah, and that
Except for
really
during the
helps.
pandemic, both of us lost it, but then we
Yeah,
got ourselves back after his
yeah,
injury and
yeah. I was telling my friend, it wasn't what happened to me during COVID. It was what I didn't do during COVID.
yeah,
At that time, I was working at a shelter. And so we were helping people stay sheltered in place inside of a homeless shelter. So I didn't get to do, the Netflix or build the TikTok account, 'cause everybody was like just at home in the luxury loungewear now.
well, you maybe had the luxury of moving a little bit more than the rest of us did.
Exactly. Yes,
We were very
yes.
sedentary and I mean, I
Oh,
was teaching music classes on a computer
oh
like
my
this.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no movement. And
No.
I don't know when it hit me during COVID where I started to get sedentary. And I think that's when they started to send us home so that we can have an environmental break. And I was like, "Ooh, I like this. Can we have more of these days?" And they were like, "Yes." And so I could do my job from home. And that's when I started to gain the weight because there was no movement at
Yeah,
all.
I think all
Yeah.
of us did.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I saw you on that mat and I'm like, oh, it is on. The last time I worked out at home was walking away the pounds with Leslie Sansone. And
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think about a yoga mat. I love the workouts though on the program because I know what I'm going to be doing. They're all lined up for, they're planned. The week is planned, the food is planned, and it really is a fail proof. The biggest challenge is self,
Yeah.
whether you decide, yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this and I don't feel like it. Yes, I'm going to do this and I'm not skipping it,
Mhm.
because I know what skipping does. Skipping a workout turns into a day, then it turns into a week, then it turns into a month, and then it turns into a year. And I was telling Casey, it was 2014 when I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna sleep in. So when I decided to move again, it's 2022. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
So time
but
to
you're
get
moving
away.
now.
Yes, more intensely, and with intentions. And
Absolutely.
having the mindset, right? I've learned with being on this journey this time is that old diets, um, I would pay more attention to the band-aid more than I would what is being bandaged. And so now it's kind of like peeling back that band-aid, paying attention to what is there, what's hindering me from living a quality life. And I like that space better because I notice the small things now. Notice how I feel. I notice, I can fit something better. And before it wasn't about that. It was the scale is not moving. And that was it. It was not about anything else but the number on that scale. And so it's so different this time.
Yeah, the mindset of it is everything. It really is. And having a purpose and
Yes.
really diving in there and thinking like I'm doing this, like you said, like I'm committing to doing this every day or 3 times a week
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever your commitment is. And
Yeah.
I'm going to do it because, if not, then I'm going to fall off the wagon and it's going to be harder to get back on. So I'm committing to this. And
Yeah.
that's the mindset that I got in. I don't know. I want to say it's about a year ago or so that I really consistently, maybe more than that, really consistently started working out, and not for my body, but for my mind,
Yep.
for my peace and serenity and
Yeah.
just me time um
Mhm.
and kind of, blowing off steam, so to speak, too.
Yeah.
I mean, um, after the pandemic, teaching hasn't been easy. These kiddos are really behind, and there's a lot of behaviors, and it's difficult. I am blessed with my job. I absolutely love teaching music, and I'm blessed that I'm able to be the outlet for these children.
Oh yeah.
Um, and in my classroom, they're moving. And that's a big, important part of my lesson planning too, including movement in my lessons because it's
Hmm.
important for the children as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. And music changes the mood. So what a great subject for you to be teaching,
it does.
because music is everything.
It
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely
look at us
is.
when we work out. We need that music when we work out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to be
Yeah.
jamming when you're working out.
Yes, but you know what else I noticed too? It's a part of my self-respect and self-love,
Oh,
self-care.
yes.
It's not, before it was all about losing the weight. But as I age, it is about the weight is a result of making an effort that has to release that reward. And if that reward is weight, then so be it. But you and I both know that obese people are not always sick, or thin is not, the picture of health and beauty. It's all sizes. Beauty and health is all sizes. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I've just really had to like scrape back that stinking thinking and be true to self and do the workout, and that the weight is just something that is extra that's going to come off,
It is,
and your
but the
mental health,
mindset is everything.
it's everything. I mean, look, we struggle with even getting our clothes on, and then when we get our clothes on, it has to be like something jazzy so we can get in the mood.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. I want to match these earrings today. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Or I'll do
yes.
my
I mean,
makeup before just intently to like brighten things up so that I have to wear something fancy.
yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's different. It's different when you are tired of the hamster wheel. You have to consider, what else can you think about that makes this rewarding?
Right.
When, yeah, like, yeah, in my other years, it was, I don't feel like going, so I'm not. But now I know if I work out, I'm going to pour that stress into my workout. And that's going to make me feel like so amazing. Glad that I
Exactly.
did do it. Mm-hmm.
And living life and finding different circumstances of life where, you need to fit that in for yourself too, like is a challenge sometimes, We are going on vacation here in a couple weeks. And Casey was joking about me exercising in the car. Um, but for me this summer, I didn't know how I was going to do because I'm off. I'm not working. Um,
Yeah,
I'm,
because school is
I'm,
out.
exactly. School's out. I'm able to nap like almost every day, which is glorious. But you know what? I'm still doing my workouts because I still need to do my workouts. And
Yeah.
I've decided to do a little ab challenge too because I want to have really cut abs for the beach. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm doing 10-minute, 10 exercise abs. So a minute and exercise every day. And yesterday I did a full ab workout for 30 minutes. And so my abs are killing me, but I'm going to
I
get
know
it,
it hurts to
girl.
laugh.
I
Yeah,
know.
it hurts to laugh. Yeah.
It
But
does hurt to laugh.
yeah, yeah. I came to the realization this is where my soul lives. And I really wanted to have a polished home. And, I want it to feel comfortable and safe here. So, being able to take that into consideration, because you really don't think about that if you haven't been on enough, roller coaster diets. But when it's a lifestyle change, you start to think about other reasons on why you work out, why you move your body.
Yeah.
And moving your body to sweat doesn't have to be, jumping jacks. I mean, I'm amazed at what happens when I'm using those stretchy bands.
Oh, yeah.
However, having weights at home, I mean, I think common sense should have, kicked in and said, you can order weights for home. But it is something very empowering to lift weights. I absolutely love it.
It
I
is
can become
empowering.
addicted. Yes.
It is empowering. And I don't lift
Yeah.
heavyweight, but it's still empowering when you can get those suckers up above your head or
Oh gosh,
out
yes.
when you're doing
Yes.
this and you're getting them
Yes.
out completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know where the myth came from that if you lift weights, you'll look like a man. Like, I don't know where that came from, but lies always travel farther than the truth.
Right.
And,
I think you see these advertisements of fitness programs with women that are, that look like Casey. They're jacked. And you
yeah,
think, oh, well, if I start lifting heavy, I'm going to look like that. Where the truth is, that person is probably on some sort of, um,
Right.
some sort of muscle enhancement drugs,
Mhm.
whether
Yeah,
it's
and I
testosterone or steroids or what.
yes, yes.
But you
Yeah.
don't think about that.
Mm-mm. No.
You think,
Uh,
oh, this woman has been working her butt off, and so that's why she looks like that. I don't want to get there though, so I'm going to pull back a little bit.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Casey busted that myth for me too, because I was one of those people that said I don't want to look like a man, and you know what? I don't. I'm very, my arms are feminine still. And
Yeah.
even though they've got definition and cut to them, and I don't know if you can see my arm, um, I'm not a man. I'm not manly.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and yeah, lifting's not going to do that to you. So I
Yeah.
love that
I
you
think
mentioned that.
too. Yeah, it we have to go back to the basics, right? We know that food helps the body. So if you want to change anything in your body, it really starts in that kitchen.
Yes, I was
And,
going to mention the same.
yes,
Yeah, we're on the
it's
same
so
wavelength, girl.
crazy. Yes. And it is so, so true. You can't outwork or yeah, you can't outwork a bad diet. It's just not going to work. Now, you can maintain, as long as you're moving your body, burning those nonsense calories that you just put in or for fuel. And you really can tell the difference between what bloats you, what makes you gassy, what makes you move slower and sluggish in the gym. Clean foods just make you like float all over. And you can stay full longer if you're eating the right foods. I mean, junk food will have you hungry in another 15 minutes, like Chinese food, right? It's like, oh
Absolutely.
my goodness, I can't eat another thing. And then
Then
you're
you're
hungry
hungry
again.
again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But I absolutely love where I am in my season of life. My social media outlets, I just want to be a myth buster about how obesity is not really, you're not depressed, you're not, ashamed of your body, but it's something that we fight, right? Obesity is something that we are all fighting. I feel like most Americans are obese, but so it's a lifetime fight, would you say?
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
I was obese
yeah.
for years and years.
See, but to live and enjoy the journey of knowing that you're getting better every day because you've decided to put yourself as a priority.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the best success, and it has been for me, is feeling okay with putting myself as a priority to get my health and make sure I eat and hydrate, and then I'm able and stronger to take care of somebody else. I don't
Yes.
think that, like the airplane, you really can't take care of anybody else. Now, do we? Yes. And we're in very bad health as we do it, but putting ourselves back in that number one spot, back in that driver's seat, changes everything. Everything.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely. Have to
Yep.
put yourself in that driver's seat, and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yep.
for
And
us,
just
it's
traveling
us and him.
too.
That's who's driving.
Oh gosh, yes. But being able to have a group of people who struggle with grazing seasons, right? All of the seasons are about to jump off,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to come up with solutions, ideas, and powerful self-talk so that we don't ruin all of the hard work, and how to be kind to ourselves and forgiving when we do feel like we've fallen off the, health kick wagon
Yeah.
for a food day. Yep.
Yeah. I was really proud of
Yeah.
Casey and I with 4th of July. We both did really well.
Mm,
Stayed in a calorie deficit. He ate more protein. Actually, I probably ate more protein than I ever do, but he ate
Mm,
protein galore
yep. Yep.
and um, good stuff. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we were watching it and paying attention to
Yes.
what was going in, you know?
Yeah. And probably TMI, but I'll say it because it may help somebody else. I did notice my cravings around that time of the month. They weren't all whacked out because I
Mm.
had, the balance of proteins and eating more live foods. And I didn't have that yo-yo. I need crunchy, salty chocolate and something soft.
Yeah.
Like somebody
Yeah.
prep it. Like give me everything. As a matter of fact,
Right.
let me eat my young.
Yeah. No, that's great
And
that you mentioned that because
yes,
balancing out your diet the way that you do
yep,
also, is helping with your hormones as
yes,
well. So
yes,
so you're
yes.
more balanced out there.
Yes, and it,
So,
it feels good to not need to oil my body's bones like the Tin Man on Wizard of Oz when I'm moving. I know that this soreness is from working out and introducing new moves to my muscles instead of hurting because I need to get up off the sofa. So that calcium and blood flow and eye coordination, it just
yes.
all works together.
And I would really recommend the EPN BCAAs. Those really help me with my joint pain and muscle recovery. So
Good, because
that's
I have
something
those.
you do awesome.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that is
Yep.
something that I really recommend because they help me a whole ton.
Yes. And it feels good not to be just taking every supplement under the sun, like, fat burners, collagen, like pop it because it's the hot, shiny penny.
Right.
But finding those supplements that really help you heal
Yes.
and help you perform,
Right.
instead of just buying a whole shelf of everything. It really, really, really does help. But I feel so good. And it's not, um, I feel like the goal is getting a little fuzzier because this is a lifestyle. And even though my body will start to change at that weight number that I want, I still feel like it's more than that, right?
It is more
Because
than that.
still have to continue this new habitual
Well, and you're saying
movement.
that you're feeling better, that you don't feel like you have to oil your joints anymore, that I mean, you have this glow about you. You know, I bet you're already
Yeah.
feeling younger.
Oh, listen here. Yes. Yes.
That's
And
where I'm at
there is
too.
a level of believing in yourself, like, oh my goodness, I made it 30 days.
Mhm.
And you can trust yourself with the next. And that's another thing I've learned is trusting myself around food. Every weekend, we
Yes.
sell pound cakes, 50 flavors, and snow cones. And I'm right there trying to eat a new slice of whatever flavor. But now I can trust myself around the pound cake and
That's
around all
great.
flavors. Yeah. So it is about learning and honoring your feelings at that time and being honest with yourself
And like
as
you
you
said,
change.
trusting yourself with food. I mean,
It
we
is a
have a
must.
couple of different types of cookies and a handful of types of chips in our pantry, and
Oh, yeah.
the kids can go at it, but we are trusting ourselves that we're not going to dive into those things. But when we
Yes.
do, we're in
Yes.
a calorie deficit, so it's okay.
Exactly. Right. And we can plan for them. And that is the most comforting and it makes the most sense. Like I don't have to cut it out. I have to plan for it. I have to write, is there enough money in my calorie checkbook to write a check for?
Yes, yes, you said it perfectly. Is there enough money in my calorie checkbook? I love
Yep.
that.
Yes, yes. And that
Yes.
stops you from like when you cut something off, when you taste it, it's over. It's no longer, the 3 serving Oreos. It's the whole sleeve because I've denied myself these.
Mhm.
So having, planning it and having enough calories, you're still okay and you still can lose. And
Yes,
inches and pounds, and you still feel strong enough to move when it's time to work out. Because eating that
absolutely.
crap, you don't feel good.
You're right. When you're eating a whole sleeve of Oreos, you don't feel good.
You don't
But when
feel
you
good. And
have the
yep.
serving size of 3 or 2 or whatever it is,
Oh
then
yes.
and you're
Oh
good,
yeah.
good to go.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
We'll have Casey back here. You want to jump back on and talk some more or
Let's
say
do it.
bye or whatever you need to do? All right. Well, first off,
Thank you,
let me say
Anna.
I was so happy to talk to you. Thank you for chatting with me for a little while
Yes,
and I will
thank
see you
you.
on Marco Polo and
Yes.
yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
keep at it, okay? You're doing
Thank
awesome.
you.
I'm proud of
Thank you.
you.
And the support is amazing. So I can't lose that way.
Nope. Nope, that's right. We've got your back.
Yep.
All right. I am so glad that you guys got to talk and just
Yes.
meet each other formally, and it's so fantastic. I know that she was a huge inspiration for you. I mean, we do this business together, and she was telling me like, "Hey, I'm messaging this lady, and she is just ecstatic, and she has such a big presence, and she's amazing.
Oh, thank you
We
guys.
need to get her in this program." And I remember talking to you and just hearing your story and just hearing your struggle and just knowing that this was the right program for you. And I remember telling you, like, I don't work with the 20-year-old gym babe who's just trying to lose a few pounds to get in shape for the, summer to wear her new bikini. I work with SonJi, right? I work with Peaches. I work
Yep.
with women who are have been battling this for years, and it's
Mhm.
been a roller
Mhm.
coaster of going up and
Yep.
down and struggling with weight loss. And
Yep.
just so thrilled and honored to have you in the program, and
Thank you. It
you've been
is
such an inspiration and blessing to all the other ladies who are in the program as well.
wonderful. Oh, thank you. This is the most intense support. Like, you can follow the plan, right? And you can't go over, especially like the detox part that I'm on right now, but it is literally the support. I have never embarked a group of people. Now I understand, when you're talking to people, if they're ready or not for this. But I tell you, this is the most intense support, and the most movement I've ever done on my phone. When it's concerning me, I'm not
Mm,
just, sitting there LOLing, but I'm learning and grasping the tools to survive when we split or when we're not, in Marco Polo. And
hmm
so that whole dynamic of how you have the protective gates around us so that we know that we're not alone, we gain the knowledge, and then we go out there and kill it every time. So thank you for that intense support. It's amazing. I've never been a part of anything like that.
right. Well, that's what I wanted to create because, like I always say, if we have not to be overly morbid, but if we have cancer, right? If we get a disease that's going to kill us or could potentially kill us, there's groups out there, right? There's support groups for how to get through that when you have cancer.
Yep.
But then when it comes to weight loss, that if you look at the statistics of what happens in regards to heart disease, diabetes, and those kinds of things, those are just as lethal. Why
Yeah.
aren't there support groups at the same level for that? And and not to say that there's not, because there are, um, but it's so impersonal. I mean, not to knock any of the other uh, programs out there, but it's I I equate it to a small church and one of those big, huge churches,
A mega
and a
church.
mega church, right? And we go to it's a decent sized church, but our pastor knows every single person's name in that building. He knows their children's names. He can call us out in the crowd. He's very, it's a small congregation and everybody knows everybody and it's personalized. And if we
Yeah.
ask for some kind of help, whether it's prayer or something more, we know that we're going to get somebody who knows us and knows our story and is going to get in there and have a real conversation with us. Whereas in a mega church, you're going to get something like that, but it's going to be more run of the mill. It's going to be more
Cookie
running you
cutter.
through the process, cookie cutter. And that's not what I
Mhm.
wanted for our program. And even when as we scale and get bigger, I'm going to take steps to make sure that it's still personalized because this is life or death. This is
Yep.
serious, this is real, and I want to make sure that, anybody who's going through our program feels that they have that level of support, that they are taken care of, that somebody is watching, somebody is paying attention, and somebody really
Yeah.
truly cares.
Yeah,
And that's
the
our
knowledge that
mission.
you pass on is amazing. Like it's stuff that we know, but we don't think about until
Right.
you like toss in an analogy and bring that thing home. And everything is figure outable. It really, really is. I mean, down to travel, down to not having a microwave or a kitchen. I mean, we still can get in there and be successful with this plan. And
Yeah.
I love it a lot.
Yeah, Anna, do you want to check and see if anyone's jumping in and joining us or commenting or has any questions? It's it's okay. Okay, no problem. No problem. So, one question that I wanted to ask you is because, Anna and I do this together and
Mhm.
this is we're doing this as a couple. We did this fitness journey as a couple and I was blessed to have a woman that, was willing to support me on, my madness, whether it's jumping out of a plane or starting a fitness business
Yes.
or whatever I do. But how has your journey impacted or how has it been with your partner, with your husband, and what has that been like?
As soon as everybody, the whole house saw the menu,
Mm-hmm.
it was, I think that they went into it like, okay, so we got to be a short cook because you're going to need this, and then we're going to eat this. And we got it. And do you know we're still eating chicken breast and that jasmine rice with the strawberries?
Mm-hmm.
But they were all shocked that we can make this as a home meal. And because I'm an older parent,
Mm-hmm.
I trained my kids to, I mean, they can't buy the junk, they don't have the job. So
Mm-hmm.
I just kept healthy foods because I didn't want them to battle that obesity like I did. So they love everything. There isn't a food that they don't like, thank the Lord.
Right.
And so the menu shock them because I am, when you're doing those special diets, it's, the Nutrisystem or eat the box,
Mm-hmm.
the Weight Watchers meals, but
Count your
this
points.
we can, yeah, but this way we can cook and we can all eat as a family and they love it.
That's
So,
fantastic.
yeah, just kind of like squashing all the what ifs because
Mm-hmm.
we didn't know quite what was coming for me, but it's bulletproof and it can be for the whole family, even though, I'm the only one that's fighting obesity in the family. They're very supportive because they can eat this food. Like,
Oh, that's
are
so
you
wonderful.
sure? Are you sure this is what you're supposed to have?
That's so wonderful. Well, we even had that happen tonight. Our younger son, he had some dental work done.
Oh,
So today, and so we made him some like soft like Dentimore beef stew
yes.
uh,
Oh,
to have for dinner. So he had something soft, but then I made some chicken, some grilled chicken and asparagus for us. And then my older daughter, who's 13, saw the options, and I was like, "You want a bowl of stew?" And she was like, "Well, I mean." can I have some asparagus and chicken? I was like, absolutely, absolutely. So
Yep.
you see it taking hold. They see it and they want to be part of it, and that just bleeds into everybody's life. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that you said it's bulletproof, because it's so it's so important that this works for the family, because I can't tell you how many times I hear that objection of, well, I want to do this, but I can't be eating something different than the rest of the family is. And I
Yeah.
said, you don't have to. There's ways to
Right.
make it work. I mean, even on nights where we make a pot of spaghetti and meatballs, we're still eating the same thing, just we're not eating the spaghetti noodles.
Yep.
But you're not cooking two different meals. You're just, separating it somewhat. It's manageable. It really is.
It really is manageable.
Hmm.
And we've learned too in the house, like we're not buying the box of ice cream sandwiches because everybody grazes on them. So
Right.
we make dessert an extra effort. We've got to
Hmm.
go out and buy it every time. Like
Right.
because keeping that stuff in the house is like, not yet.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Well, and I want people to know too that are on a fitness journey that um, dessert is not kryptonite. You can still have dessert. In fact, we believe that you should enjoy dessert. That you should enjoy those things that feel and taste good and give you that quick dopamine hit, and that you
Yeah,
enjoy. But just like you should go on a vacation, or you should buy something that you really want but don't necessarily need, you shouldn't go buy that thing if you can't afford it, right? That
that's
wouldn't be
right.
smart. You got to make sure that you're saving the money to make sure you can afford it, and managing your calories is the same way.
Yep.
And that's why I always
Yep.
say what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed, and that's why that's so
Oh my
important.
goodness. That should be on a t-shirt.
You know what? That
You
that
gotta do
that's coming. We're going to get some merch. It's coming.
Yeah, I was telling Etta, I was like, on this journey, we're no longer paying attention to the band-aid. We're fixing that whole entire wound.
That's right.
And a lot of times we want to focus on that scale number, and we just can't. We have to pay attention to everything good, even though that scale hasn't
We're
changed.
figuring out
I-
what's causing the wound in the first place.
Mm, Yep, yep. So
So,
mm,
I did want to ask you, if you ran into somebody, or maybe somebody that, uh, has maybe seen some progress that you've made, or that you've talked to, or has seen some of your content, and was thinking about, starting a fitness journey. What is some advice that you would give them personally? Something that maybe you've learned from us, or just from your own, personal journey in life. What would you say to somebody who's saying, man, I really wish I could lose some weight. I really need to lose some weight.
yeah. So now when I post, they're like, "What is the secret?" It's like it's not a secret. I'm eating food that fuels me. I'm getting my sleep, and I'm really putting myself first because we do everything for everybody, and then we, do the whatever's left over,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's skipping dinner. But I tell them immediately, I'm getting my sleep, I'm eating food for fuel, and I finally started moving, like a commitment to move every day, move my body. And they're like, yeah, but what else?
Yeah.
Because they think that I've picked up the newest, shiniest penny. Like it's not keto, it's just learning how to eat
Mm-hmm.
and what works.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we've been conditioned to want the new shiny thing, right? We're always looking for that new buzzword. And the things that truly work, I mean, a crude way to put it, but it's not sexy. It doesn't sell.
Right. That's
And the
right.
fitness and weight loss industry knows that. They know that, they can't sell their products if they say, "Hey, you need to make sure you're getting enough sleep. Hey, you need to
Yeah.
make sure you're
Right.
eating clean whole food. Hey, you need to make sure you're drinking enough water." Cuz guess what? Those things are free.
Oh my gosh, you said something the other day. Fast results bring on slow
Slow
problems.
problems, that's right.
Woo, Lordy. And that is what's selling. You can sell a lie, but you can't give the truth away. And the lie is out there making billions off of weight loss.
Well, and the sad thing
So,
about it is that it perpetuates keeping people stuck, because those slow problems lead to the recidivism of people gaining the weight back. And then guess what they go do? They go look for the next shiny thing that's going to give them the fast results. And it
yep,
just becomes a vicious cycle. And I mean, part of my mission is to, because I could have taken the same approach. I could have been one of those personal trainers who got in really good shape and used our image to promote something that would give you quick results, and we could make uh, money like that. But that's not what we're about. I want to change lives. And if that
yep,
means that this process takes longer, if that means that we, don't make as much money, if that means that we don't have as many clients as, the shiny thing is going to get, I'm okay with that, because then the people that we do get, I know, and I can go to bed at night knowing that these people are really changing their lives, that they're going to get these results and they're going to maintain them. And at the end of the day, if we can save just one life, if we can help one person achieve their goals and break
yep.
a generational curse of obesity and
Yes,
bad habits, then, you know,
you've done your job.
I've done my job and then some. So that's
Yeah,
our mission in a nutshell.
yeah,
That's what we're really here to do.
yeah. And in the process, I find myself, honoring my feelings, honoring and recognizing those bad habits and backing off of those. Like, nope, that is a bad habit. You see it, gradually get off of it.
Hmm.
And it's those honest talks and keeping tracking honest, so that this works. Because honesty, you can fix things when you're honest. When you're still in denial, there's no healing that's going to start there.
Right. And at the
And
end of the
so,
day, the only way to get there is to have somebody else who's paying attention. I think our buddy
oh, God.
Austin from Player One Productions said it on our last podcast. He said, if the IRS wasn't, after you the way that you do, if you didn't have to report stuff, nobody would pay their taxes, right? But it's
That's
because they're
right.
such a big entity that's on
That's right.
you, and and maybe a crude example, but I think it's so important to have somebody who is going to be following up with you. Hey, did you track that? Did you pay attention to that? You know did you measure that? And that's what really builds that habit and builds that
Right.
consistency. And that's so critical. And that's what having a coach is all about, is having that person that is willing to take the time to go look and say, hey, what's happening this week? The calories aren't logged. You didn't take your weight. None of the gym sessions are checked off. What's going on here? And when you know that there's that person in your corner that is punching you in the face with love,
With
that's
love.
that's going, yeah, it's not a mean thing, but it's hey, I'm following up with you, girl, because I care about you.
Yeah.
And that is keeping people doing that, and we need that. We need
Accountability.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Accountability. Yeah.
And I say this all the time. How many times before you, found Anna and found us, did you download something free off the internet?
Every time. I
Every
think I
time.
did it. Yeah. And then it was like she just completely stopped me in my tracks. I was like, oh my gosh, she is working out at home and she's cute and matching, like it was just a whole bunch of stuff that just hit me all at once, just seeing her do the stretch. I mean, she didn't have the stretchy bands. It was all her body weight. And I was like, oh, and I don't need
Yeah.
equipment. So it was a,
Yeah.
a whole a flood of things. A
Hmm.
flood of things. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's when I ended the save this workout.
Right. Right. Try this new 30-day challenge. Try this. Here's a free PDF on how to lose 20 pounds in 10
Yep.
days. Yeah. All of it's out there. But, you
Yep.
know, uh, at the end of the day, having someone hold you accountable and being part of a community of people that are going through the same thing and doing it for real, it's powerful. Yeah.
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. And I reward myself with clothes instead of food.
I love that. I love the last reel that you did where you were like trying on clothes. That is such a huge inspiration. And it's so easy to reward ourselves with food because that's how we've been conditioned. I mean, how many times can you remember being a young child and you did such a good job. Let's go get ice cream. Let's go get you a treat, right?
Yes.
And our parents meant well. They weren't thinking like, oh, I better not do this or my kids are going to develop a, food complex
Right.
and, be obese.
Right.
And
It was a love language.
it was a love language. Exactly. And, but we end up being conditioned to soothe and find the, reward those reward centers in our brain with sweets and with sugar and with treats and with food. And then we wonder why we self-soothe with food when we're stressed or having a hard time. It goes way, way back deep into our childhood. And so I love that you're doing that you're taking the initiative to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that for myself anymore. I'm going to find something else that's powerful. So tell us about that. Tell us about that process. Like what's your like, I'm feeling good, I'm going to go reward myself. What is that? How does how does that go?
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna go do a photo shoot in this Walmart fitting room, and I'm not gonna buy them because I'm gonna be melting away. So I'll just do it and then put them back on the shelf. So I just started going. I'm like, you know what? I think I feel a little smaller. Let me go and test these jeans, and then it's a whole photo shoot. And then of course, I put them back on the shelf. Like, nah, these didn't work, but they did work. I just it's better than food, and I'm like, I've got to keep doing this. And it's for bathing suits, it's for jeans, it's celebrating where I am. I know that, God is going to see me to that destination and past that goal, but also bless me in the location I'm in right now, with the situation I'm in right now. And I feel like we should be enjoying. This is not a dreadful journey. This is going to change us for the better. I'm doing this in my 50s so I can feel good in my 60s. And so this is all about celebrating me, and I'm going to take care of myself and enjoy this journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, projecting even further into the future, looking behind you at this amazing young lady who you work out with into your hundreds, right?
Yes.
Like that should be our ultimate goal. So,
Yes.
well, listen, Peaches, I am just over the moon excited that you showed up here and did this podcast with us today. And I think there's just so much value and so much knowledge that everyone can glean from this. And so thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for being our client. We appreciate you. We love having you. And I look forward to seeing your amazing transformation. And watch out, people, because Peach is just showing up, and Peach is going to mean something different than the original nickname. You're going to see it.
Yes. We're coming up with that. I'm stirring in my head.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out, but it's gonna be fantastic. All right, Peaches. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And you can find Peaches on Instagram at Peaches Loves Coffee, because she does love coffee, and you'll find that out when you see her reels on Instagram. But thanks again for being here, and
thanks for having me.
We'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.